When it comes to dealing with narcissistic parents, narcissistic friends, narcissistic adult children, narcissistic partners, we can often hold on just a little bit longer, hoping that one day they will see, one day they will change their ways, one day they will see the error and the destruction they cause to those around them, only it never works out that way. So this video is a few signs that a narcissist isn't going to change. And one of the first of those signs is repeat patterns of behaviour. Yes, we all make mistakes. This is how we learn. This is how we grow. With a narcissist, it's a chronic cycle of a repeat pattern of negative behaviour because they simply lack the self-awareness. They refuse to be held accountable. They refuse to learn from their mistakes. There's a deep-rooted resistance to change within them because they believe that they are always right. An inability to accept any form of criticism. Criticism's not nice, and narcissistic people will pretend to try to be helpful when they're actually sabotaging you. So it is a tricky subject to go over. However, when someone has an inability to accept any form of criticism, when they just become hostile and defensive, they are unlikely to reflect on anything, believe that they're always in the right, and they are going to be very resistant to any form of change. A lack of self-awareness. Nothing is ever their fault. They fail to recognise their flaws. They fail to take responsibility. Instead, they go all out to deflect the blame onto someone else because they are this is going to cause them to be very resistant to change, resistant to growth, because they perceive themselves as perfect and see no reason to change. An intense need for validation, constantly seeking admiration, expecting praise and recognition. They usually lack the internal reflection skills, meaning they're going to be unwilling to change because they're seeking the admiration. They're going to twist the story they tell to those around them to gain the validation that they themselves are in the right and it was the other person that is wrong. Manipulation and deception. Narcissistic people are highly skilled at manipulating people. They are the masters of deception. They use charm and charisma and cunning tactics in order to exploit people and get their needs met by people. They look to control without any form of remorse, and as they lack that remorse, they're reluctant to grow past their self-centeredness. They're looking to get their own needs met. A relentless need for control, a rigid need for control, which will hinder their personal growth because they're that busy trying to control the world around them. A lack of empathy. Narcissistic people tend to have a lack of empathy, meaning they struggle to understand the feelings and experiences of those around them. So they have a very limited capacity to look beyond their own self-centeredness, their own needs, their own requirements. And as long as something benefits them, that is okay. They only change temporarily when they've lost some form of supply, either to bring a new supply on board or to regain control of an old supply. And that's only because they can see within themselves how they're suffering because they've lost that supply. As soon as they've got some form of supply back, they revert back into who they truly are. Narcissistic people are entitled, they lack empathy, they're willing to exploit people to get their needs met, and they require that excessive admiration and attention. They are arrogant enough to believe that they are always right. So they are very unlikely to reflect on the part that they played in a situation. Instead, they go around blaming everybody else, and as they blame everybody else, they believe that everybody else needs to change for them. They themselves are perfect. So they see no reason to change.